Check. Check. Check, check, check. There we go. Alright, that's the mic. Cool. Alrighty. I just want to get this stream running here. Going to be doing some more LinkG4 tuning here. This car has been sitting for like 2 weeks because I've been doing school stuff. So it is ice cold, and I need to see how the cold start is on it. I think it's on like 60-something% ethanol. Turn the key on now. Let's see if it connects. I'm glad it was active, but how about like we talk to it? Let's like do something. I want to monitor parameters. This is annoying. Let's go. Something. Well, that's terrible. I wish I could connect the ECU though. Come on. What the fuck? Let's try a different port. There it goes. Oh, there's 2 of them up. Okay, so the program opened twice. Interesting. So I closed the wrong one. There it goes. All right. Well, let's see what this cold start setup is. Cold start. Now, this is on ethanol, like I said, so I got to do different cranking based on ethanol concentration. I don't know what it is right now. Like I said, I think it's 60. Let me double check. I always forget where it's at on this one because they put it in a weird spot. Okay, it's not that, it's that, but it could be this. There we go, 70%. All right, 7 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. Okay. Okay, so we're at 70%. Okay. Pre-crank prime table is currently set to a single value. And it's got 0 up top too, which I don't like. So I need to change that too. We need to make this a 3D table. I definitely want this to be a 3D table. I prefer it to be a 3D table. Do I have the option? No, I don't. That sucks. That sucks. I want the option to have it be based on ethanol so I can throw a bigger prime in it when I first start it. Is this the one? Does that work? I don't know. How about this one? This one work? Okay, this one's working. This one's not. Okay. This is a 05 STI with a link. Borg Warner. When I was tuning in a couple weeks ago, like I said, you never get to do cold start, right? Like, it's got to be cold to actually get to mess with it. And right now, thankfully, it's cold, but I already cranked on it some. It didn't start. So that's not great. But it's also 9 Celsius. So that's what? What is 9C? 9/5. 18, 40-something degrees, 50 degrees. Yeah, about just under 50 degrees. I'm actually surprised it's that warm. All right, Fahrenheit, obviously. Okay, first crank prime, 50%. Yeah. Let's see, 3D crank hold is again only 2-dimensional. This is a little long, I think, on some of these. It's a little long, especially where the enrichment is high as these enrichment tables are. I feel like a 2.5 seconds at 200 something percent is a little high. So I may have to tweak that. So right now, I'm cranking on 58%. That's not enough. So that needs to be higher. I'm giving it 200 and something percent based on ethanol. That might not be enough, but we'll find out. I just raised the VE 20%, so that's going to give me like a 40% increase in fueling. So let's see if she starts better, or starts at all. All right, so we're closer for sure. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Wish the Lambda would come in quick so I can see what the hell's going on. There it goes. Okay, so 7.4 Lambda. So the post start's pretty rich. I'm fine with a post start that's rich as long as it runs. But I don't like this 2-second hold. I think this is too long. Now I'm trying to start it again, but this won't be very representative of a cold start because it just ran. There's heat in the engine now and all that. But I do want to see if I can make it a little better. Alright, well hopefully it'll do better next time, now that I added fuel to the cranking and all that, but I won't know that until next cold start, which is going to be, you know, tomorrow or next day or whatever. So, oh yeah, coolant temps already at 24 Celsius. Boy, that got up fast. That's actually surprising. It's up really quick. Oh yeah, I can turn the volume up. My bad. Which one is it? There it is. I don't know which one is up. I think it's this one. I don't know if I'm supposed to hold it or just press it. It doesn't seem like it's going up any, does it? I got the gain up. Let's see if I got a boost on here. I've even added some boost to it already. I'm trying to get it up. Trying to get it up. We'll try that, see if that's any better. It still looks a little low. Let me go into my sound settings. That was okay. There we go. That should be a little better. Automatically improves sound quality. What does that do? Oh, I got a 10 dB boost on here. I shouldn't need that much boost. Okay. I guess that's my only option. All right. It's on DVD. Okay, I see a higher static level, so we'll see if that's any better. Let me know if it's distorted or not. All right, so right now we're warming up. Let's see what we got. Correction is -10, so right now it's pulling 10% fuel to even get to this point right here, even though the target now is 9.7. As long as it doesn't add to the long term, that's not a big deal, but it'll run now at closer to 1 lambda. So I can go to the warp enrichment table and I can pull some out of here. Looks like it's a pretty large value right there, 23%. So I can pull some out of that. I don't want to pull too much though out of all these tables. Especially if it's not because of this table. So like right now, this is 47%. So I mean, it could very well be from that table alone, because that's the table that's active right now. This table is also active, it says, which makes sense because it's interpolating between the two of them right now. So it's pulling some off of here. So it's still a lower value. Let's double check my fuel table, make sure I got it set right in case I dorked it up. Where'd it go? Fuel corrections, dual fuel table. Yeah, interpolate between. So it's going to be between those two tables. So the 47, whatever it is, to the 58 is where it's going to be sitting, which is a pretty low VE. And then the fact that it's so rich right there. But remember, I had issues with the, what was it? The fuel temp was off. Like the entire tune that I did, the fuel temp was way off. So I had to deal with that shit. And now I got to fix like the VE table almost everywhere else. All right, let's go here, check it out. Okay, still pulling 10%. I'm fine with that, to be honest with you. Because then when it starts, if I stalled it right now and it's getting funky and I restart it, I'll get post-start for a while, and then it'll pop back in warp enrichment. But it'll be nice to have that in case the O2 sensor cools off or shuts down and has to do a reboot. And then I got 20 seconds of it heating back up again and no closed loop control. I'd rather it be rich during that time than lean, because if it's lean, then it misfires and gets stalled again. And we usually don't want that. So now also, I only have 10% on my closed loop fuel correction allowed, which isn't very much. And ideally, I would increase that. I mean, from the factory car has 25% short term and 25% long term. So if I give it, at least 15% authority or more, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And right now I think I have it set to pull 10 and add 15, which I could very easily make this add 20 and pull 15. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely okay. Long term, I only gave it 10%. Trim 16 apparently pull, only add 10. I don't like to give 25% authority to the ECU on long term. I don't know why I don't. I guess I just don't want to increase the possibility that passing through his load cell, I get a big lean spike or something. I'd rather have it, just be a smidge rich, and then come back later, look at the trims, and adjust the table based on the trims. I don't want to have right now long term is 0 because I haven't reached the temperature threshold to bring it into closed loop, and I also have it off, so there's that. messed up my fuel map getting after those adjustments the other day. Oh yeah. Really messed up. So I can spend a lot of time in that zone right there. Oh, that's table 2. I don't care about that one. That's not what I'm looking at. It's this one, that one. Not so bad. Not as bad. Probably needs a little more right here. But I really gotta load it to get there at low RPM, and I'm not too concerned about that, but definitely work on a smidge. Alright, I feel some heat coming in, which is good because I was freezing my ass off. I'm sure these tires are gonna be flat spotted as shit. Cold, sitting on rollers. I'm actually surprised it's not bouncing more than it is. There's a smidge lean right there. check. I don't know if I can run it and charge at the same time. I don't think I can, but let me try it. The battery's fully charged, but you never know. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why it went away. I'll keep a better eye on that. It's got a flashy light on here, which would make me think that there's an issue with the battery, but I don't know why there'd be an issue with the battery. Let me get my USB cable. It's USB-C. Let me grab that and plug that in, see if that helps. Need that. That won't do. This one should do it. Alright. Oh yeah, now I got red lights on it again. That sucks balls. The fuck? Check. Check, check. All right. I see my microphone volume bars, but I see that it's gone down in gain some. Okay, maybe I'm fucking blind. That should do it. That should do something. But I want to listen to this device. And I want to hear the damn thing. I'm in the jack. Use the device. Everything says it's good. Oh, now it's back. Okay. Alright, let's go. That's better than nothing. Alright, back to audio. There's this guy on the internet. I don't know why, but he follows me around on YouTube of all things. And like tries to argue with every comment I make on every video. I don't know how that's possible. I don't think you could search for someone's comments on YouTube. Or if it just somehow this guy happens to like watch the same video as I do. But he likes to argue with me all the time. It's quite annoying. And I have yet to see him be right. But man, it's so fucking annoying. So Banks had a video about dynos and how to spot cheaters and shit. And in their video they said that dynos measure torque and calculate horsepower, but that's not true for all dynos. And so I said, well, dyno jets don't measure torque. They calculate they calculate horsepower and they back calculate torque. And this guy was telling me they're calculating horsepower to accelerate the roller. That's a calculation, not a measurement. Like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like, they don't have a tool for measuring force, right? The Dynojet dyno, the roller ones, the only thing they have is a speed indicator. So the only thing they can measure is speed. Everything from there is a calculation. Everything. And the guy's arguing me about how the fucking dynos work, and I'm like, yeah, you're arguing with the wrong fucking dude, because I'll tell you how the goddamn dyno works. But he's trying to tell me. Then he goes, you know, they measure torque by knowing this and this and this. And I'm like, the dude just fucking described a calculation, right? Like, if you don't have a torque arm and a load cell, you can't measure torque. Plain and simple. You can only calculate it. And, but, you know, idiots will idiot, so it's fun times. Alright, so now I'm back to this. I need to polish up the VE table, obviously, because we had some issues with the fuel temperature being read incorrectly earlier. So I got to hit a few spots on the VE map, see how close we are in those zones, so I know if the map is way off or just slightly off. I think it's only slightly off now, because I made a bunch of changes already last time we did this. So first thing I'm going to do is I got to lock the dyno at a speed. I apologize, I'm yelling in your ears. I'm used to turning my head away and having it yell loud for the laptop, forgetting I have a microphone sitting next to my freaking mouth right now. But okay, so I'm going to lock the speed at about 35 miles an hour. It's a really good speed to hold them at because it gives me a lot of range on the gears. One thing you don't want to do is go too low of a gear and have so much torque multiplication that you're straining the straps and you're pulling the car off. Now, we're also overloading the load cell. The load cell is more effective at higher speeds than it is at lower speeds. And also, if you think about it, my torque multiplication is less, then it's got to hold back less torque. So if I'm going to do low RPM stuff, it's better still to do it in like third or fourth or something like that, so I'm not multiplying a bunch of torque. Because then, if I'm rotating the roller slowly with high torque, the load cell's got to try really hard and it has to use a lot of current. So not only do I use more power for the power bill for running the dyno, but I have a lot more heat built up in the load cell. So I'm unnecessarily heating the load cell, and it's spinning slower, so the fan on the side of it has less airflow going through it to cool it off. So overall, it's a better idea to keep it going at like fourth gear or fifth gear, especially if you're doing low speed stuff. I'm doing 35 miles an hour like this, that thing's not turning that fast. So it's better not to have it too slow, is basically what I'm trying to say. You want airflow over the load cell with the fan on it. You want to keep the current lower because it takes less power, heats it up less, much stuff like that. Just better for your dyno. The car doesn't care too much. Really, it doesn't matter what gear you're in if you're just trying to polish up the VE table, but for the dyno's sake, it's good. On a cold day like this, it's not nearly as much of a factor, but on like a summer day, when it's hot as balls in the dyno cell, it's 100 plus degrees, there's a fraction of the cooling going on for the load cell. So basically, just like any mechanic or anybody, you want to take care of your gear. And that's what I'm trying to take care of my gear. Okay, so right now on this fuel table, we're looking at a trim of 2 to 3%. I'm good with that. Now I see a step here from 67 to 76, so I'm going to add some to that 67 mark because that would make sense to help reduce that trim a little bit and split the difference between those two cells. Now this is a 5 jump and this is a 10 jump kPa, so it's not going to be an even step. It's not going to be 555 like I have it right now. I should pull that down just a smidge. So there is going to be some difference in the size of that step because of the axis on the left, but we can see clearly that the trim was off a little bit and now it's better. Now we're at, let's go to this loaded region again. 3%, still 3%, so I'm going to bump it up here just a little bit. But hey, 3%, that's great news considering how far off the fuel pressure or fuel temperature had made it. I'm going to load it a little more. You see my trim went to 11. It's interesting, right? The trim is 11% there, and the target is richer. Now that makes me feel like that the ECU is not doing the correct calculation. It's supposed to calculate the air mass based on the VE, and then as you increase the target, it's supposed to know that it has to add more fuel, but it looks like it's not doing that correctly. Now Link does have the settings somewhere, which will get you if you're not paying attention, because they have a setting. Where is it? It's not this, but I do want to check this real quick. Ethanol should be right around 109, which is where I got it. Yep, okay. Let's bring it up. Okay, so I don't see the setting. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I'm in modeled. If you come off of modeled, oh, here it is right here. Lambda target table overlay. So you gotta be careful with that one, because that one totally skews. If you're not prepared for it, it'll totally skew what you're shooting for in your tuning. Oh, they changed it. That's cool. You can do it based on an input now. That's cool. They changed that. It used to just be on or off. And if I go always on. So this is an open loop table, and I honestly never used it. I always relied on my target table and my VE curve to be actually correct. But you can see here the target overlay numbers are added to the numbers in your target table, so it's another layer on top. Now the fact that they have it on an input now, that's actually really cool, because that means you can utilize it for other functions. If I wanted to say do a nitrous and this didn't have nitrous control in it, then I could have it activate on an input based on nitrous, and then it'll add fuel immediately. I would adjust my overlay lambda to a richer target by adding, half a point of AFR or whatever, and then when the nitrous comes in, when it's activated, then the table overlay would would target a richer AFR. So that's really cool. I like that they did that, honestly. And really, you could do this for all kinds of stuff. If even for cold start stuff, if you want to adjust it, say some of these links don't have all the tables for startup based on ethanol concentration. As you saw earlier when I was trying to adjust the ethanol concentration for the prime, that wasn't there, and a few other things. Obviously, I can't affect the prime in this table, but there are other things that I can affect, and they don't have a fourth dimension or a third dimension. Or if I wanted to add a fourth on top of it, then I can use a table like this to do it and activate it based on an input of some sort. So that's pretty cool. But you do got to be careful, because if this table has values in it and you get it turned on and you don't realize it, then you could be chasing your tail big time on your tuning. So I want to point that out. That's a high fuel density for our gasoline. Our gasoline is usually a lot lower than that. Our gasoline is usually closer to 720 than 740. Let me see. I have some stuff that we did. Let me see where those numbers at. Yeah, so Anton measured it, and our stuff is at 40C, so that's 20C. At 40C, he's got 7.11. Now it's going to get denser as it cools off. That's a given, but that's a pretty big difference in what we got there. Now, how does that affect this? Right, that's one thing you might be asking yourself. How does this affect the calculation here in the link? Before I answer that, make sure my mic is still working. All right, still working good. Okay, so the way this works, this is very important, because if you see it's grams per cc. Now we know the injectors flow a certain volume, and that volume is in cc's, but that doesn't tell us how much mass we're injecting. This is part of the mass calculation. Remember, as I said, the number one job of the ECU is to measure the mass of air entering the engine, and most of them use grams. So if I have the mass of air entering the engine, from that I need a mass ratio of air to fuel, and that's where air-fuel ratio comes from. So I need to know what mass of fuel to put into the engine. Okay? Now, if I just so in order to know the mass of fuel, I need to know what fuel weighs. Right? How much does fuel weigh? How much mass is there? Because the mass tells us how many molecules are in there and available for reacting during the combustion process. So if I had a fuel that was really, really light, like say 0.4, and I had the same mass of air, and that means I got to add almost twice as much fuel to get the right ratio than I would if the mass of the fuel was 0.8, for example. So our fuel in the U.S. is typically lighter than the fuel in other countries like Japan and Australia. Our burn speed is a lot faster in our fuel, and some of that's the ethanol. Some of that, well, that's not true. I don't want to mislead that. The ethanol does increase burn speed, but our base gasoline mass is low overall, because a lot of our fuel is oxygenated, and we tend to have a little more light hydrocarbons in our fuel than the other people that have slightly heavier hydrocarbons in their fuel. So our fuel density is lower than most of the world here in the U.S. So that's something to keep in mind. Do that. Now, so what just happened? I just told it that the fuel is lighter than it thought it was before. So that means now it's going, oh, well, I need to add more of it. So I just lengthened my injector pulse width right now at idle. Now we can't see what the AFR did, but if we look over here, we can see, okay, our trim is 3.8%. So I can change that again here. So let's go 0.8 and watch the AFR. Oops, I thought I did 0.8. There we go. Watch the AFR change. AFR is here on the right under lambda 1, and then you see the trim right now is 3%. So I click this. Okay, now look at the trim. The trim's changing now. It's like, oh, what's going on here? Unfortunately, the fan kicked on at the same time, so I kind of screwed it there. But you'll see there's a positive trim now because it thought the fuel was heavier, so it put less of it into the engine. So now there's a positive trim. Now if I change this to 0.6, it's going to go richer because it says, oh, it's the fuel's lighter. I got to put more in there, and then all of a sudden it gets rich, and the fan just kicked off. So I got another swing in there. But you see the difference now in the fuel trim. So now we'll go back to 0.722, which is where I think it should be for our pump gas. Now you're saying, hold on a second, you're on ethanol right now. You're on 6% ethanol. Why is this having such an effect? Well, you're absolutely correct that it actually is having less an effect now than it would if I was on pump gas, because I'm actually right now way more biased towards the multi-fuel fuel density, which is right here. Right here, and our ethanol is pretty heavy. Here, let's see, what was the last calculation that was done? What was the last that he got? Now this is Anton, he might even watch the video now. He measured the fuel density of the local ethanol, which should give us some indication of what it is around here. And we got our ethanol from the same manufacturer, not the same station, but the same manufacturer. And I don't see his ethanol value in here right now. But anyways, it's usually 8 something. Now I'll do that same thing again, but now since I remember that we're in the higher ethanol age, I'll do this again. We'll go 0.9. That should lean it out. And you see the lambda swing to the right there, and look at the correction now, 15%. And I'm going to go 0.7, and that should make it rich as balls. Bam! See the lambda swing in, swing down, and now the correction is negative 15. Now it's overcorrecting a little bit. Induce a little oscillation, but that's expected because I'm fucking with it. All right, so you can see right there how the fuel mass affects the calculation of what's needed to get it running correctly, get the right air-fuel ratio. 830 is a little high. It's usually like 18s, something around there. We got to find our calculations, what Anton had there. What was it, Anton? Are you watching? I don't recall. I thought it was like 816 or some shit. Oh yeah, I remember. He did this because I told him that winter and summer blends were different densities, and they are. And so he was like, really? And then he went and checked it, and sure enough, he showed that they were, in fact, different densities. And the winter-summer blends are different densities because in the winter and summer, the EPA has different standards of what's allowed. Basically, in the summer, it can't evaporate too easily because then more of it leaves the evap system and all of that. So they want to have a certain rated read vapor pressure for the summer months, and then in the winter it could have a different pressure because they need it to vaporize better for burning in the cold of the winter. Shitballs. Well, I don't know what's that. I'm not going to stay on my phone for too long on stream. I just wanted you guys to see that effect that it had and how much of a difference it made. And you saw here, big changes, right? Because we were at ethanol 70%. And so the way this works is this fuel density is based on this blend ratio. So you see I got 100 to 0 in 10% increments, a very linear line because it's going to be relatively linear. And so What happens is at 100%, the field density that it's going to use in the calculation is going to be 0.8173. At 0%, it's going to be the previous one, which is what I said was 718 or 722. And then it's linearly interpolated between those 2 points based on the ethanol concentration. And that's why, since we're currently at 70%, why it had such a big effect by adjusting this end of the spectrum. All right, it says I'm dropping 0 frames, so that's good. And everything seems to be going okay there. I have no idea if anybody's watching the stream. All right, so I'm gonna start driving again, and I'm gonna start. Oh, that's a buzz? That's terrible. Oh, that's a buzz? That's terrible. Oh, that's a buzz? That's terrible. Oh, that's a nice echo. Okay, I gotta get rid of that buzz for you guys. Oh, that's a nice echo. No one told me it was buzzing that bad. I need to isolate it. I need a ground loop isolator. Can you even hear me though? Alright. I see it. I see that it's low though. I see that the volume is really low. But yeah, that was terrible. I'm really sorry that you guys had to listen to that buzz. Let me see how that sounds now. Check, check. Yeah, now it's low. It's clean but low. Well, that's a crappy crappy way to go. Let's see. Check, check, check. Man, I don't want to induce another buzz. How's that? That a little better? That seems like better. Okay. I don't want to induce a buzz, but I also want you guys to hear me. What other properties do I have? That's it. Alright, well, I see that the bar is higher, so hopefully that's a little better. And hopefully less buzz. Let me open this again and take a peek. Alright, sorry guys. Sorry about that. I think I could probably add more. I just don't want to induce clipping or other issues. I don't know what it'll go to. Not that. Try that again. No, it's not letting me do anything. Come on. Yeah, I don't think 30 is an option. 25 maybe? Maybe that's a little better? I don't know. I'm trying. How much more can I add? 26. 26 is the limit. Okay. Alright, well that's as much as I can add. I can try to go in the audio settings again, but knowing me and my luck, it'll probably screw everything up. Yeah, 25 is the limit. That's what it's saying. Or 26 is the limit. I don't know if my sound settings have any more option. Microphone's at 100. We're back on USB again, but at least there's no buzz. And I don't have any options for other stuff. Unless I go this way. you know, I don't like Windows 11. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. No, that's all I got. That's all I'm allowed to use. It's all it'll give me. All right. Well, at least it's not going to die, and at least it's audible, and there's no more buzz. So, all right. Okay. Back to clean up this fuel map. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. All right, snappy, crisp, smidge rich on the XL. Smidge rich right there. Smidge rich on the XL. Let's knock this down a little bit. Really rich right there, that one spot. I'm trying to find that. It's not right there. way better. Way better. Yep. Oh yeah, runs smooth. I like that. All right. Let's do a poll, huh? That looked nice. 640 wheel. Let's look at the log here. Felt like I hit the rev limiter or something because they went burp at the end. Yeah, fuel cut right there. I thought I had it set higher than 76. I'll double check. I might have the control range set at 400 RPM and the RPM limit set at 8. If that's the case, I need to reduce that range a little bit because it's still making good power there. It just started nose over before the fuel cut kicked in. The horsepower is climbing, climbing, climbing. It just starts to nose over. Now, we're going to add some timing up top because this has nothing in it. I mean, 10 degrees through the whole thing. There's like 50 wheel in here and just timing. Lambda's a little leaner than target up here up top. Need to add a smidge to it there. Let's take the closed loop, add closed loop Lambda to it, and update rate, make it really low up there, but just to give us a few corrections, to give us a slight trim that we can see where we need to go with it. I think we're out of fuel. Should just start to stutter a bit, and the gas light's on. You might be out of fuel. All right, so I decreased the update rate on the Lambda up top, just in case it started to pull fuel. I don't want to overcorrect and pull too much. So I gave it just a slow update rate up top. So if it's linear, just add a couple percent, which helps get me closer to target. It'll give me a little bit of a trim to look at. Now, granted, I can look at it right now and see that I need 6% fuel to get to my target. Now, my target Lambda, though, is 8.0, and that's actually pretty rich for ethanol. So really, I should change my top end target to be less than 8.0 and then put some timing on it. Now, this low timing value makes me think that I went over the knock threshold with just engine noise, and I'm pulling timing because I'm pretty sure so that's what it is. I'm like, I know I have more than 8 degrees on this thing. So the engine noise is just a little high on, you can see, if you look really close, see what it is. Can I zoom in on that? I can't. They come together, but you see the pink one just goes up faster than the rest of them. So we can see that cylinder 4 noise is still higher than the rest of them, which makes sense. It's closer to the knock sensor, but that means I still got to pull it down a little bit, the sensitivity, because it's not knocking here. This is engine noise we're hearing. The other thing too is I got to change this. I forgot I changed this while we were talking. It should be like 12 to 13. I wish there was a wideband that high. 10 to 16 wide. There we go. That's what I want. I'll try that again. I was looking at a bunch of audio spectral analysis of knock events as far as the audio frequencies are for the EJ, for 2.5 liter EJ, and got to see where the noise is. Now the noise originates in the 5600 kilohertz band. That's where the knock event originates. The 5600 hertz, 5.6 kilohertz. The issue is that everything else also originates in that band. And so you have to go to the second or third order of that frequency to get it out of the range of the valves shutting and that kind of stuff, which are also in the same order, right? So it's still a bit of a pain in the ass, but it just helps to get it up a little higher and a higher frequency. Here we go. Like that. Okay, but even then, right here, and right here, where are we at on this table? That's the trim. That's not the knock trim. I want the knock trim. Oh, you twat. So there's no trim in that area, no trim here, no trim here. What the fuck happened there? That's weird. That's a weird one. Okay. I just deleted them so I wouldn't know anyways, but if we had trim in those areas, then that would explain why our timing's so low. Let's go back to here, and actually let's go ignition tune. Oh, this one doesn't have my stuff on it. I thought I had ignition traces on that one. I guess I don't. So this says 9 degrees, 10 degrees at 7,000. I can add like 6 degrees to this, and we should break 700 wheel horsepower with that. Let's just double check the table, see that I'm close to what the table says I'm supposed to be at. I'm not. You see here I'm like 4 degrees shy of what the table says here. Now this is at 100%, so I do need to go double check the other table. So that's 100%, and this one is at no percent, so I've got 3. Okay, so that's why we can see now that it's, I pulled a ton of timing out of the pump gas map based on that. Now this is a lot to pull out of the pump gas, and it's affecting my top end timing for the ethanol, because I pulled just too much out. So I'm going to add timing to it and make it a little more what I should see. I mean, even like I say, even for pump gases is conservative, but I didn't want the thing to have an issue with pump gas if it overboosted or whatever. I see too many cars on the internet get blown up by guys that don't have adequate boost timing compensations, Cletus McFarland, and I don't want to be one of those guys. But 8 degrees at almost 30 psi at 7,500 on pump, that's not too bad. That's definitely probably still safe. Definitely probably, yeah. And that'll add some timing up to the top end for the ethanol. That'll get us closer to this. Remember, again, it's on a slope, right? I have the blend ratio table here, and I have it set really high at 70 because I want almost all that timing here at 70. 700 I don't want as big of a change because a lot of the timing gain happens on this slope here. So even then, I should only be 10% below that map. So that tells me I did have something else taking our timing down, and it could have been the knock trim. So I'm going to see if I can find that on my parameters. Alright, so we see cylinder 4 had 5 degrees off of it at one point. Let's see, where was that at? Right there. But that's not right there. Whoops. Let's bring up cylinder 1. Nope, nothing there. Okay. Let's look at my intake air temp compensation. See how much we were pulling with intake air temp. There we go. There's our 3 right there. So air temp was high. So I'm gonna see if I can cool that air temp off. Alright, that'll be better. So I got a friend of mine asking questions about her car. All right, well, let's look at this temperature now. How much has the air temp dropped? Not much yet, but it will during that pull. So let's do one more pull. Fuel light's still on, but fuel pressure's still there. We'll just keep an eye on fuel pressure during the pull. You can see the pressure was completely flat during that pull, so that's good, nice and flat. Oh, that is fourth. All right. Okay, power dropped. Why did power drop? We got more timing on it this time. Pretty much got the time where we want it. That's good. It did run a smidge richer. Okay, that's good. But why did timing drop? Or why did power drop? All right, so boost dropped about 1.5 pounds, so that'll do some of it. Also, the dyno, as I look at it closer, the dyno graph has this square boxiness to it, and that usually means that there's noise on the sensing line. It actually looks a lot like the battery voltage here. Weird thing with these dynamics dynos is the IAT will pick up noise and will give a jittering intake air temp to the dyno, and then the power gets all weirded out because the weather station gets confused and there's just like noise everywhere. And this thing had a battery charger on it, and the lines were laid right over the IAT sensor. So I'm going to move the screen so I can see it, and then I'm going to change my display to IAT and see if that is in fact what happens. Weather and the air temp. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll show you that here. Let me get my other camera fired up. You guys got to see this. This is so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let's go here. Let's fire up my Pixel. Where are we at? There we go. All right. Let's bring this to the front. All right, let's vertical. This way. All right, so check this out. That's the reading from the intake air temp on the dyno. Well, that's fuzzy-ish. There it goes. So this affects the weather correction on the dyno because these damn things always trying to correct, right? The correction factor. And so you can see it just went freaking haywire. So basically that last poll is no good. Well, the data from the last poll on the dyno is no good. The computer says that it's, the link says that it's great. So that's wonderful. Oh, you know what I should have done? Oh no, it'll work. Never mind. There it is. Alright. So I moved the battery charger off that wire, and we're going to see if it works again. Because that pole sure felt like more than the one before it by a good margin, but it won't be with that going on either. Alright, so those cylinders are still noisy as shit. I changed the frequency and I went to wideband from narrowband, and you see what happens. So let's go back to a narrowband, but let's put it around 13,000. Trying to get these freaking cylinders a little more balanced. Okay, pink is 4 and blue is 2. So 2 and 4 are both higher than 1 and 3. Which makes sense because they're closer to the sensor, but you look at the individual gains I got on them, and 2 is actually pretty high. Oops, I don't want that. I want this button. Four. I don't want to go that much lower on 4. I mean, it is right there, but okay. Alright, tables are cleared. Let's try it again. Oh, I saw the gain set at 7? Holy shit. Okay. Usually that's like 3. Let's see what we get. Okay, well the temp stabilized more, but it's still not great. It's way flatter than it was. So that's good, but there's still some noise on it. I need to put a jumper cable on this thing. The fix is usually jumper cable to the chassis of the car will fix that completely. So I need to put a jumper cable in the chassis to cool that down. Power came back, 633. So we're still down 5 from where we were. We did tip into the area there at the beginning. It almost came in really good though. And unfortunately we lost connection during the pull, but looks like I exceeded it again on cylinder 4 right here. It's really annoying that it's so freaking noisy. I mean, it's double. It's double the noise of the neighboring cylinders. 2 and 4 are double. I wish the log didn't cut out though. That's really a shit deal. Yeah. Why is 4 and 2 so loud? This is louder than normal. I'm trying to figure out why. This window's long, but it doesn't really matter. Eleven's one of the popular bands too. 11 and 13 are like the most commonly watched bands. That's second order. 56 times 2 is, 11 too, so that'd be second order there. Oh, I already cleared them like an idiot. But those two changed. You see right there, those two changed, so. What was my dwell again? 2.9. 2.9 is not bad. Stop it. My fucking laptop sometimes does that shit. Like the touchpad like freaks out. Forgot to change that last time. Talked about it, I didn't do it. Okay. Back to fuel. Target 2. Oh, it's interpolating. Because of the slope, it's interpolating that I want to be leaner than I do. Interesting. That's something to think about, okay? That's something that's important for guys that if you're tuning Link or other systems that interpolate based on the slope. So some systems will stop at the high value. Wherever the high value is, bam, that's it. It stops there. And some systems will interpolate based on the cell before it, what slope it was on, and perpetuate that slope into infinity. So if right here, for example, I have this set higher than this one, leaner than this one, and it interpolates past this point, the target's going to turn around and lean out. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, therefore, if it's flat and I do this, then it's going to be that target forever. And if I have it down a tiny bit, then it's going to have a downward slope. So safe would obviously be a downward slope. And then, yeah. Anyways, there's something to think about. Something to think about when you're tuning these things. Make sure you don't. I want about 8.5. I like 8.5. 8.5 there. What am I on pump? I should be really rich on pump. 7 something, which is where some of the rest of that enrichment's going to come from too. Yeah, 7.5. So that's really rich. What do I want to be on pump right there? Probably 8.0, 7, 7.8, probably 7.8. 7.8 would be a little safer. That high. Okay, so I have interpolation there too, based on my fuel concentration, multi-fuel concentration. Multi-fuel interpolation based on ethanol concentration. There we go, sorry. No, I don't want 7.8. That's too lean. No, I do want 7.4. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, let's look at the boost on that last log. It definitely kind of oscillated a smidge right here. Oscillated right there. Proportional pulled some out. Integral didn't touch it. Derivative didn't touch it. So this came down. Okay, let's look at our target. Target was 286. Oh, that was in stage 2 control too. Interesting. And then we popped it. Why didn't it go to stage 3? It's supposed to go to stage 3 within a certain level, but it didn't. It waited till after it passed it up before it went active into stage 3. That is a little bizarre. Stage 3 on. Okay, so it's the delay. That half-second delay was too much. It's too much. Alright, so that's why that happened. Alright. Target was 280 and then 300 up there. So it came in harder than the target. And most people would say, oh wow man, yeah, just let it eat, right? I don't want to do that. My goal is to keep the heads on the engine. Now I can do that with retarded timing, which I do have pretty low timing in this region. Keep the heads on it too. But I'm also pumping heat necessarily in the engine, so I'm not in a hurry to hit 30 pounds of boost right there. So I don't think I'm going to change it unless I just can't get the boost control to behave right there. I do want the horsepower to go up more towards red line than what it has been doing. It's starting to flatten out pretty good. Sure, that's fine. And I wouldn't mind if it tried to carry a little more power on the very top end. But again, 30 psi is, you know, it's not a little bit of boost. That's put some air. So and bring the old curve back up. Fuck! I left the keyboard on the Dyno computer. Move to Texas. No. How's them nails? They're good as always. Oh, wife sent me something. What is this? $100? That's cheap as shit. How damaged is it? Huh. $54 inches? It's kind of narrow. Okay, sorry. I am coming to Texas, Paul, in June. I'm going to Dallas. I could potentially do a tuning trip to Dallas if anybody wanted to get tuned down there. I'm also going to go to Colorado this year, probably May or June as well, for a tuning trip. So if anyone in Colorado wants to do that, I'll happily do that. It'd be a lot of fun. Fuel pressure was steady for the half of the log that we got to see, and we did that already. All right, well, let's try it again, and hopefully we don't lose connection during the pull. If we do, I definitely got to get, definitely got to put, sorry, hold on a second, I get laptop keyboard. I also moved the air temp thing to somewhere that might have less interference, since I don't have jumper cables on it yet. Alright, temp sensor's fixed. Boost went down. Uh-oh. Did I fuck my log up? I hit that button twice? Let's go to my last log. Alright, my previous logo. I forgot how to do this on Link. That one. Okay. So it disconnected during the pull again. Motherfucker. Oh. No, it just is fucking set this first second. This is that last log. Well, I'm just gonna close them all. Okay, double check. Yeah, temp stabilized. It's now a flat line instead of a jaggedy line. So it smoothed the horsepower out. That's nice. Let me clear this. Bring up these other graphs again. Come on, keyboard, stop it. Alright. Boost dropped a lot because I enabled stage 3 sooner. So boost dropped quite a bit. So I need to adjust that some more. Okay. Need to fix that. But I don't have a good log because it keeps disconnecting. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do to stop it from doing that? I'm gonna reset the program. I'm gonna save the store. I'm gonna turn the car off and back on, and then get the get that going. I just want this thing to fucking work. Yeah, Dallas tuning trip. Yep, could definitely do that. Right now I'm planning on going down for IEM Dallas, which is just a video game CSGO tournament thing. It's like $250,000 on the line for the guys playing that, so we're gonna go for that. Just a bunch of gamer nerd friends and I. But if we want to do some tuning and shit, I can come early or stay later and do that. So. Oh yeah, Mark, right? Yeah, because you got M-Tron and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, we could definitely do that. Get you tuned up on the M-Tron. Oh yeah, I wanted to disconnect it completely. Turn that off. I want to disconnect the link entirely. Make sure it totally powers down. And then do that again. Alright. Okay. Online. Alright. Post start enrichment still in a little bit. Good. $44C, huh? Getting a little warm on the ethanol temp. Definitely getting low in the tank for that. Come on, logger, stay connected. Okay, a little boost bobble. If you guys see that right there, you can see it and hear it. We just went over 300. Boost. Alright, so stage 2 is still active. I don't understand why the fuck stage 2 is going active. And then stage 3 and stage 2 again. We fell below. Wow, okay. Well, that's weird. So I have it at a higher hysteresis than that, but interesting. Stage 3 never comes in all the way, just for a second, and then leaves right there. So I have PID control in here. Looks like the integral was a little too aggressive. Popped 5% out, which dropped it down and pulled it out of stage 3. And we can see that the boost is 276 when target's 300, so we're outside that, outside the range where it'll use the integral to build it up. So it tells us two things. One, the base percentage needs to go up a little bit in this area. So we need to bring the base percentage up so it's closer, so the I factor will work. Right here, the 3 came in and it pulled boost down too far, so I added too much to the integral earlier. Oh no, I didn't change the integral earlier, but there's too much in it, so we gotta bring that down. Or maybe I did change it. I don't remember now. Fuck it. Proportional could use a little more, so I add some to proportional like that, and then I think I'm going to increase the hysteresis on the 3 to 15. That'll let it stay in a little more with a little more error if that exists. And then we're going to add a smidge to the wastegate duty cycle for number 2. You see down here 15, and proportional was adding 4.5, so it gave us 19. So we know that we need at least 19 here, so I'm going to go with 20 like that. Oh, that boost target is not right. Alright, so we see we're here actually, so let's get rid of that change there. Let's make this I mean, why do I need 0 RPM for a wastegate duty cycle? That doesn't make any sense. I don't have the system even active until 1500. Wait, what the fuck just happened? I said not to interpolate it. Why did it just zero everything out? Well, that's a shame. Oh, because I pushed it down. Damn it. Okay, so this is 20. That was 15. That's 9. Vertical, like this. Take this guy. Hit that this way. Okay, save that. Okay. That makes more sense. All right, so that'll do 2 things. So one, that brings up the initial wastegate duty cycle table you see right here, which was low. So it brings this up, which will bring us closer to within the range for stage 3. So it should stay stage 3. However, it might increase the chance of us overshooting our boost target right here at this RPM, because you see it's 21 was too high for it in that mode. Now before it was coming down quickly from 90, so potentially it should pop down sooner. This might save it right there. That might keep it from overshooting. This on its own might keep it from overshooting. It's going from stage 1 to stage 2 before we hit peak boost. Should knock it down to the wastegate duty cycle. Should help minimize that spike. But I do know, oh yeah, and the target is lower there, so let's lower like that. That should work. I think that's going to work. As long as I didn't screw this up too much here on the left with the PID control, that stuff should work. Let's go to IAT target. No. Yeah, IAT target trim. That's boost. I don't have any target trim set here. Oh, that's KPA. That's boost target. I want this one. Wait. That one. So it's pulling 4% out right there. It's pulling 3% out right there. So it's doing some stuff based on cold air temps as well. So I got some correction there. I'm not going to pull that out because when it heats up, it's going to need more duty cycle when the air temp's higher outside. And so it'll get it. It'll get 3% more duty cycle. Right now, it's 1% more duty cycle. But as the air temp drops during the pull, well, there's some noise in that back end there. Now we're talking. All right. So, bunch of good things happened there. First, the boost and overshoot. I don't know if you heard how smooth that was. The boost and overshoot at all. And looking at here, bam, it just hits that target and sits right on it. Pretty close. Within 10. So that tells us two things. One, not enough integral authority or not enough initial duty cycle because it's not able to quite get there. But there's no overshoot. Overshoot's gone. So that's wonderful. Two, the pull was clean, the dyno didn't freak out, so that was good. 667 wheel, so that's even better than before, so I'm happy with that. It's a good improvement. Timing is up to a whole 14 degrees, which means I can add more timing on this thing on the top end still and potentially lift that horsepower curve up at the top. I didn't even look at the horsepower curve. Let's see what it looks like. I just got boost on there right now. Boost and air temp, make sure the air temp was correct. Oh yeah, now we're talking. All right, let's change this axis to 750 so I can see it. That's much better. I like that. So the timing has already helped bring the top end horsepower up and not fade it and not have such a flat horsepower. And because I got to share, let's share. Still pretty flat, but still climbing. I could definitely throw a little more timing up top. That should help. This bottom one here is boost. You see, we're just under 30, nice and flat. So if I actually want to, I could taper it up some and see how the car responds to that. Again, I'm trying to keep the heads on. The owner races it all the time. That's pretty much all he does with it. And so because of that, I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence, make sure that it's going to survive. And the mid-range, keeping the heads on, is really important. So I don't like putting a bunch of boost and timing on it right here. And as it is, the system is so efficient in that mid-range RPM that the torque is already, well, the horsepower is 500 horse at 4,500, so that means the torque's probably 600 or something. Let's find out. Bring the torque down real quick. I mean, I can calculate it because it's just a calculation, but yeah, so we've got what is that, 755? 550 foot-pounds at 47. Got a nice flat torque curve through that mid-range there that I really like. Right on the 550 mark. Let me change this graph because it's not showing me all the divisions that I want. All the graduations are missing. Let's go. There we go. That's better. So 525 foot-pounds from 47 to 6,000. No, maybe 61-ish. Then tapers down to 450-ish at redline. Oh, that's not true at all because I didn't change the torque thing. That's not right. Like, there we go. I was like, and they crossed at 5250, but they didn't. I got to fix that. Crossed 5250, we're supposed to. Okay, so yeah, it's 500 flat. Like 550 flat from 48-ish to 6250, 60, almost 6500. It's flat, 525 or 550, and then tapers down to 450 by red line. So my goal is to try and bring that torque up top, up a smidge more, to get that horsepower to climb a little bit more as it rips through the gear there. That can be done with boost and or timing. So we're going to do a smidge of both. Like I said, I only got 14 degrees at 7,700. So we're going to start with a little bit of timing, because look how conservative this is. That's really conservative. So I'm going to start with a little bit of timing. Bloop, bloop. I want satisfaction. Okay, and then I want a little more ramp to it. Alright, so we got some ramp to it. A little more swoop at the end there, just to try and see what it'll do up top. Alright, that should ramp it up pretty nicely. And then I'm going to add just a touch of boost to it up top. Just a little touch. What's that give me? 5 kPa? Okay. Like that. Alright. We get that. Then we need to add more authority to the integral clamp. Let it climb a little more. It actually had good speed in the climb, so we'll leave that alone. And then we're going to go to our boost target table. No, we're going to boost wastegate duty table, and then we're going to add 320 on it. I'm going to let it interpolate, please do. Okay, so that gives me another row down here like that. And so we're going to add to this. Like that. That should give our wastegate plenty of authority to hit our higher boost target. And double check our fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is dropping a little bit right there. We're seeing a slight reduction in fuel pressure there. Air fuel target though, our air fuel is really close to the target. I like that, but I may or may not have enough fuel for this next pull. Fuck balls. Hey Siri, call Chase Wilson.
Calling Chase Wilson.
I'm lazy, I don't want to get out of the car. It's cold out there. You got any more ethanol? Do we have any more ethanol? Oh good, we need some. Didn't we use it all? Oh, okay. All right. Says we have some.
Smell like gasoline.
Fuel board. I need a funnel for the fuel.
Angle hard left right there.
That's not it.
That's the same funnel as that.
The other one was cut off the end so it flowed better. Do you know where the other one went?
No, I saw that one up there and I thought it was the one.
Yes, you used to stick inside the barrels. But I don't see it in here. Oh, perfect. Thank you. And I'm only at 14 degrees of timing on the very top end. Oh, it depends on how the car behaves, but like that's pretty, you know, fair. That number. Well, that didn't work. I'm turning around like an idiot.
I wasn't going to say anything, but...
You can open some more. Open it some more.
Oh. Did you make about 630 last time? Pulled the ball out? Why is it more with less engine? It's a 2.3 now.
No, it's not.
Is it?
No. No, James has a 2.3 and Igor has a 2.3.
Are you supposed to silicone those and block it?
I mean, I guess if it's sealed, it's not like it causes a fault.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Breaks the timing.
Oh, that could do that too. Yeah, for sure.
So what's the big change?
Well, less overlap because the smaller cam on the intake matters. Oh, god damn it, threw a belt on the fan again. This time the top one, I think it broke. Oh, it's on the ground.
I replaced both of them last time.
Take that.
Ow!
Turn it on now?
No! I'm doing like a Volkswagen. Put the belt on while it's running.
Say what?
Do it like a Volkswagen. Put the belt on while it's running.
Yeah.
Use your flathead. Alright, so something's wrong with that one. I wonder what. It threw it off immediately. Yeah. Huh. There's another belt down there.
Yeah.
Wonder why it threw it off. I think it has good spring tension, so I don't know, maybe it... Is out of alignment?
Yeah, maybe that's oh, there you go. Oh, yeah.
What moved?
Oh, that one's off. I don't want it too low.
Do you think the top one moved or the bottom one?
Hard to say. There's some.
Which one's in further?
This one.
Okay,
This
so
one's
it's
flush. This one's sticking up, but so is this one.
the drive. Which drive is further from you?
This one.
That one's further from you?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. This one is.
Oh, okay.
This way more.
So we can just tap down with a hammer?
Probably.
How far do you think it's got to go compared to
This one's all crooked too.
same way?
Yeah, it's out this way.
Okay. We got a hammer. It's throwing belts off the fan. Where are Tanner's crescent wrenches at? Okay. How about hammers? Can I borrow a hammer too? Like this thing right here? All right. Is it one of those?
The bottom one is, but the top one's an Allen.
Oh, okay. Give it a tap, see if it goes anywhere.
Oh yeah.
It is? Okay.
Hold on more.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty loose. All right, let's see if it takes the belt again. Hey! Woo! Right? Junk, damn it. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Those are both lanes. You know that, yours. I don't tell you that. I'm stupid. Ugh. All right. You guys got to hear everything that was going on. All right, let's do this again. Let's see how much the fuel temp has dropped. Let's hit this. Fuel temp should have dropped quite a bit. Oh, it went all around the horn there. 27, okay. Oh, and concentration went a little bit too, so even more fun to be had. All right, got about 5 gallons put in it. So that should be pretty good. Let's see what the knock stuff is doing. Hey, look at that. I need to maybe tweak the gain a smidge. I wonder if 6 would be too much. 6 might be too much. What's yellow? Yellow's 3. So I might add to the yellow gain. 5%. 2%. Do 7%. Blue, 1%. So that one's green. We're gonna go 6% more. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was good. Alright, so let's look at this. Sure enough, we added a little bit of timing to it. It gave us 16 at redline. Still pretty conservative by some standards. 292, so just under 30 pounds. Interesting, we didn't hit the 30-pound mark. What's the boost at? Basically, duty cycle's trying. So yeah, we're at the end of this turbo pretty much here. Now we're adding duty cycle, trying to get it to go up, and it's not. It's not going up. It went up some, but it's not going up a lot. So we're near the end of this turbo, man. This thing's almost done. So, which is pretty crazy to think. 44% duty cycle. I mean, and that's from just 19 a few polls ago. But we can see that this whole setup is very efficient in this range. And you can see the proportional building up a little bit as it departed from the target, and then the integral was at max 10% already. Almost the whole way. That's actually surprising. Okay. But it's smooth. That's really nice. No oscillations at all. It just comes up and is flat. Just flat. Happy with that. All right, let's take a peek at this dyno graph because it looks really nice. I want to share it with you. Alright, so the green line, if I get the focus, is the new one. You see how much power I picked up on the top there with a little bit of boost and a little bit of timing. 686. That's pretty nice. Let me get rid of the other one. Let me clear that. That's good. Let's see if I can do the tunnel. Alright, that's enough of that. I'm a child. I know. Got about, look at fuel pressure stayed up better than the last one before. 10 kPa higher, so that's good. Air fuel is right on. I like it. I like where it's at. That's good. How much correction do we have on it? Stop it. It's actually adding 12% up top. Okay, so I need to add 12% up here. Yeah, almost across the board, really, in that region. Whoa, what the hell was that? That was weird. It's crazy how jaggedy this is through this region and how flat the final AFR value actually is. Just goes to show how weird these things can be. What is going on? It keeps jumping on me. This is weird. Okay. This is 7200. We got 14 degrees on it. We're at just under 30 pounds of boost. It's under 300 kPa. We're on primarily this timing map. Yep. Okay, and then we go 7500, and we're at 16 degrees, and that's pretty much right there on the time map. So I like that. Okay, I'm gonna try a smidge more, just over 6500. 15. Okay. I think that's it. That's all I really want to do, I think. I think I got everything how I want it. Other than that, we just got to see if cold start works. But we'll try one more pull. One more pull. See if that picks the power up top over 65. Ooh, 693. Alright, I gotta make these pulls longer. These are going by too quick. We really gotta get this thing loaded up for a while. I feel like those pulls are too short. So we're gonna lengthen this pull and do another one. So we'll make sure that everything's good. 17. Also make sure the boost stays flat and level with this new ramp rate, because I gotta make sure it runs good in all the gears. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Engine noise is good and predictable. Okay, I like all that. Let's do a longer pull. Why did they dwell time spike up at the end there? Do I have a hole in my dwell table? Did power change there too? I don't want the dwell to go too high all of a sudden, because that's not good. Let me see if power changed when the dwell spiked up. The horsepower flatlines. Holy shit. Wow. Huh. Where's that start at? 60. 6750. It just flattens out.
Where's down here? That's way down here. Okay, so it's not water related. Oh, let's check cam timing. We get down to 0 at the end. Where are we at? So we're at 6750. Horsepower is climbing and stops climbing and flattens out to 0. Now, that could be two things. It could be there's too much advance being maintained through the upper region, even though it's only a few degrees, or it could be not enough due to the way this cam is profiled and stuff. It may want a little more advance on the cam to increase the power up there. I want to change things, but I don't want to change things. Let me show you. Look how flat that is here. Look at that torque, just a tabletop. Whoop. And then that. Well, we just do this. We just go 10, and then don't change anything else, and we see what power does. Of course it did. Of course it locked up. Let's see what power looks like. It didn't change at all. It literally didn't change at all. Okay. I mean, I don't want to lie. It changed 2 horsepower at the peak, but it didn't carry any better. It didn't do anything better at all. So, all right. So it doesn't give a shit about that. It's far enough retarded that it doesn't care. This is annoying. Let's try this. Okay, back online. Alright, so I didn't care about that at all. Curious if it wants 0. Do 0 at 7,000. Stupid hiccups. I think that's it. I think we're done. 693, like you guys saw, nice flat torque, and a power band that's pretty wide. Could I increase the torque in the mid-range? Yes, absolutely. I could definitely increase the torque around 5,000 RPM. Actually, everywhere from 45 to 65, I could probably increase the torque. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because it's pointless. One, it's just pointless. His gear ratios are close enough that he's going to be at the top end of the power curve anyways, and won't be hitting that mid-range. Two, it's unnecessary wear and tear on a aluminum block EJ that likes to wiggle and jiggle and tickle inside her. Just moves around too much. And it's got half-inch head studs, which is great, but in a closed deck, and that's all good. But at the same time, like I said, not going to get shit out of that. The only time that would ever come into effect is if he started to pull down at $3,000 or something. He could potentially get a little more acceleration through that region. But again, we're talking about a lot of stress on the engine that it just doesn't need. And this guy's had enough downtime with his car. Enough failures and stuff. He time belt skipped before on it, and that made valves kiss pistons, and then it just needed so much stuff. And actually, his last motor did pretty good because it was a woman block, or a woman block. It was actually an axle power block that we built. 2011 probably, maybe 12. I think it's like 11 that we built it, and he, drives it and races it and stuff. Granted, the car's only got 57,000 miles on it, so it wasn't like you put like 100K on the block or anything. But he definitely drives it, and it's made this kind of horsepower like almost the entire time. And then, and it probably still, it was getting a little loud, and it ate a couple cams too, and don't know why, other than I suspect maybe the cam lift was too much for the valve springs that were in it. I'm not sure. I don't know who did the heads, because they were Kelford D's, and we didn't do D's at Maxwell Power that I recall, so he might have had heads done by somebody else. But I just suspect that the lift was too much for the springs and everything, and it kept chewing up buckets and everything. And the way it looked like the valve had opened and the spring hit coil binds and just kept eating the tops off of cams. So this has got a Kelford B intake cam on it, which is a way smaller intake cam versus the D, but you can see it idles great, it runs great, it's got a wide power band, carries power well. Like it's a good setup. I like running big exhaust cams on these. And smaller intake cams when you have AVCS. You can just do so much and have such a wide power band. And I mean, that's proof right there. That thing does it. So, anyways, I think the owner's going to love it. I think he's going to really enjoy the fact that it drives so damn good, idles so good, drives so good, better than before it did on the factory ECU. And might need to make a couple cold start tweaks to it still. That's a possibility for sure. But overall, I think it's going to be a ripper, and I think that the mid-range, where most of the damage happened to these blocks, is conservative enough that it should last them a while again. So I'm excited for that. Excited for him to get this car back. Isn't software awesome? Yeah, right? Come on, sevens. It hit 693. You made 693. Oh, you weren't here for the dyno graph. Here, let me show you. We'll clear all this shit off the graph so you're not looking at all this other stuff. $693.7. Let me get the camera now and show you one last time. And look, 7, 7, 0, 0. Look at that. So they cross 5250, straight line right there. Yay! Anyways, there we go. Not bad. $67.50. It just noses over a smidge. $67.50. I mean, I could potentially try more timing up top, but I just don't want to. I added quite a few degrees to the top end. Well, that's quite a few. I added 3 degrees, and it picked up the power, but not as much as I would have liked. And let me correct that. Not enough that I think adding more timing is going to give us the benefit that it should. That's what I'm trying to say. No, it's 30. It's basically 30. I'll bring it up though if you want to see it. It's not flat, so it's hard to say exactly. It's 30, right? It's got a curve to it because I like curvy boost curves. Is that working? No, it's not working yet. There it goes. Come on, focus. That's the boost curve, so 30 is above this line, so it's really right at 30. Right there. See how the graph, the 30 isn't on that line, it's above it? That's dumb, but yeah, so that line's like 28, 29. You can see 30's where it peaks. But the wastegate duty side goes from 22-ish here to 44 over here, so it's trying hard to carry power, but it's just out. It's out of turbo. I thought it was a 362 or something, but apparently he said it's the old one. It's the old 360 something. It's not the ball bearing one. It's not the, well, none of the ball bearing ones. It's not the billet housing or billet wheel one. It's a really old one. So I think it'd be awesome if he was to get a hold of the new 362SXE with the billet compressor wheel, basically the 9180 compressor wheel with the same turbine and everything. I think that would be awesome. And I bet with that, it breaks that 700 threshold with probably similar spool. Maybe a little later, but I think it would be, I think it'd be sweet. And I hope that eventually it does. But you know, modifying cars is. Yeah, I don't know which one it is. You have to ask him, Sky. I don't know which turbo this is. I just know that if you look at wastegate duty cycle, oh, I don't think I saved a log. Yeah, I didn't save a log. But yeah, it goes from 20 something at the onset of boost, hitting that 30 pound mark or 28 psi mark, and then immediately going climbing up, using all of the integrals available to it, and get the 40 something percent. Now, granted, it's only 40 something percent, but to see a 20% increase in wastegate duty cycle only be able to help hold the boost a little bit makes you not wanting to push it harder for no reason. Like I said, it's in a good spot. Now, if this was a drag racer and the dude was like, I need every ounce of power all the time, and I'm only gonna run it for 10 seconds at a time, then yeah, man, crank the boost up. Just close the wastegate, see where it goes, and all that. But that's not what he does with this car. This car is an autocross car and a track day car, right? So it needs to be able to last making this power. So I think actually the hot side is big, which is why it's able to do what it is able to do. I think the intake's done, but the hot side's actually relatively large. It's a twin scroll one, I think, right? I think it's a full race twin scroll kit. Isn't that right?
It's someone's twin scroll kit. But yeah, I think that's the reason it's able to do what it can do. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It's happened. Like, I think it was like 1998. I'm just kidding. I was probably wrong yesterday. Or this morning, who knows. But yeah, I think this is a great place to be. And yeah, I think it's a good spot. I think the power nose and over coinciding with the wastegate duty cycle climbing rapidly tells us that back pressure is starting to climb very fast right there, and that we're definitely out of the efficiency range of the turbo. We're in like diminishing returns at this point. And so all I could do really is try and lean it out and add more timing, which means just make it more aggressive and more dangerous in that area in the pursuit of trying to make it carry a little bit more power for 1,000 RPM, or not even a full 1,000 RPM. And that just seems irresponsible. So I'm not gonna. I think this is great, and I hope it does too. So, all right, guys, that's it for this car. I am potentially going to change cars, I think. I'm going to try and cold start it if the battery's not dead, and see if see how it's doing, and potentially change to another car. I don't know for sure if that's going to happen. I got to get support from the shop here to move stuff around and make sure the battery's not too dead that I can't do anything. So, yeah. So potentially, I'll see you guys in a little while. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by, the few that did, and I appreciate you guys. And I hope that some of these videos are educational. And I didn't get any questions this time, which is surprising. Usually I have to answer a lot of questions. And I say have to as if I don't want to, but I do like to. But I get to answer a lot of questions and stuff, but not this time. So that's all right. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend if I don't see you again before it happens. And yeah, I need a closer of some sort, don't I? I ain't got one.